Welcome to All the Gear But No Idea, the South Australian fishing podcast hosted by Rhodey and Diz. The boys will share their tall tales of the one that got away, as well as some regular segments they know all you fishing tragics will enjoy.
Welcome to All the Gear But No Idea. We're up to episode 6 and we have got a treat for you today. We're in isolation again, Rhodey, but we've got two guests. Who are they, mate?
Yep, a couple of real great guests today, mate. We've got James Flack. He is a South Australian fella. He is the man behind Troll So Hard Lures. So puts together some great tuna skirts. And he recently had a very successful trip down in the southeast, catching a 100 kilo plus barrel tuna.
Yes, we look forward to that. And who else, Rhodey?
Yep, we've got a quick little chat with Tony Bramley from Whyalla Diving Services as a part of our fishing news. He'll chat about the recent changes to the closed zone for the cuttlefish fishing.
Yes, let's get into it. What an absolute treat we've got for you today. And just a quick note, these stubby holders, Rhodey, they work absolutely brilliantly, mate.
That beer sounds cold, mate.
Very cold, very crisp.
So certainly we're down to the dregs, but there are a couple left. If anyone wants one, get in contact. And the rest of the merchandise is starting to get rolling as this Corona thing starts to ease off a little bit. We've got some caps that won't be too far away, guys. So we'll keep you updated with that.
Yes, I think Goody and Lansey down in the southeast there might be the last few to get their hands on some stubby holders, so get amongst it.
Actually, talking about Goody, I think these Cooper's Pale Ale might have been nicked off him, so thanks for the beer, Goody.
Cheers, mate. All right, let's hook into the oranges and lemons for this episode. I'm going to get things started. Without a doubt, the orange was getting the boat wet in between a few jobs over at Black Point with the parents, and we got onto a nice patch of squid. A good feed, so that was good. And my lemon for the week, the weather wasn't amazing, so we couldn't get out to our usual whiting grounds. And boy, oh boy, was I sort of thinking about how much I can't wait till that snapper band lifts. Rhodey, what are your oranges and lemons, mate?
Well, I reckon the orange, it's pretty tough to go past this COVID improvement. We're into double figures of 0 cases in South Australia. It seems to be wrapping up, and you know what that means, mate? We'll be back out travelling the country, travelling the state, getting into the fishing. The footy will be back on. Life's looking up for mine.
Can't wait. And what's the lemon?
I did call it, I think it was the last episode. I said I was finished the painting, but geez, I went early. I've been painting again this weekend. The fences, the whole bloody lot. So I'm over painting.
We'll never stop, mate.
I'm never going to call it done.
No, don't jinx it. All right, let's get into the fishing news. What have we got today? We've got a bit of an update on coronavirus. I'll get us underway. We've read an article. It's a little bit dated now, but it's very true that this coronavirus has brought some country towns to their absolute knees. We need to get out there and get amongst them once this ban lifts. Rhodey, a perfect example of that is Port Mac. They've really struggled with export being a very large part of their economy down there. And we're going to hear about how Flacky smashed the barrels down there. It's a good time of year to get down there. So once these restrictions lift, get amongst them. Rhodey, what else is making news this week, mate?
Yeah, so Tim Whetstone, he's in charge of the fishing area for the government. He has opened up 2 zones of the Yorke Peninsula that have previously been closed for King George whiting during May. That all started in 2017 as spatial spawning closures. And they've been opened up, so Yorke Peninsula locals get down there and catch some fish during May. So the areas, they're Investigator Strait, so between Yorke Peninsula and Northern KI, plus an area off Corny Point and Point Suter.
And Rhodey, they've opened them because they're happy with the whiting stocks, or what's going on?
Yeah, I think they've assessed the whiting stocks as sustainable now in the state, which is a great sign. Okay, for our next piece of news, we're joined by Tony Bramley from Whyalla Diving Services. Tony, thanks for coming on.
You're welcome, Matt. Nice to be here.
So what we're chatting with Tony about today is the upper half of Spencer Gulf has been a closed zone for fishing of giant cuttlefish since 2013. This has just been lifted by Tim Whetstone as the government feels the cuttlefish numbers have recovered. Tony, have I got that right?
That is exactly right. The ban was introduced in 2013 because the cuttlefish had virtually disappeared. Even the official counts from the government, there was only a few thousand left. The biomass should be around 200,000 animals.
Oh, okay.
And 2013, they counted 8,000. So
Wow.
How do they?
massive.
Yeah.
There's no science for it, Matt. We don't know why.
Yeah.
But the government, to their credit, they stepped in and they said, look, we've got to try something. We're going to close Upper Spencer Gulf. We still have the original closed zone around Point Lowly where the animals aggregate.
Yeah. So that's
to
been
spawn.
kept banned going forward. Is that right?
Yeah, that's untouched. That's been in place since 2001, and it hasn't been touched. When they put the overlapping closure over in 2013, that original closed zone stayed closed, and it's still protected. So we're not complaining about that, Matt. It's just that ban in 2013 that they brought in certainly worked.
So,
in the years since then, the numbers have gradually built up, and at the moment, last year, the year before, we had very good seasons, around about 175,000 animals. And it's looking good for this year. But you can imagine our surprise and shock when the minister just come out of the blue. It wasn't even a proper announcement. He just buried it in something on their website, just saying, that closure has been rescinded. And, we think everything's all right. That seems to be his position, that since 2013, the numbers have recovered, therefore we don't need it anymore. It just doesn't make sense to me, It's like saying it's working, so let's get rid of it.
Yeah, it's interesting, Tony, isn't it? Because, like you said, 2001, the permanent ban was in place, wasn't it, from Point Lowly to Whyalla?
That's only a small area, though, Matt.
Yes.
It's only like a few kilometres of the coastline at Point Lowly.
And then they still had that significant reduction in numbers of animals, and then now we've lifted it. It does seem a bit backwards.
It does. It just doesn't seem... We've asked the minister about it, and there was no science, to explain why they disappeared in 2013. That's the worry. There was no science then, but at least they stepped up and said, let's try this. And it seems to have worked because the numbers have come back. But there's still no science to explain why they've come back, except the minister has decided that, that's all good. Let's not worry about that anymore, and let's take that ban away. What if he's wrong? It just doesn't make sense to me. This thing is so important, Matt. It really is something special. It doesn't happen anywhere else in the world. People come from everywhere to have a look at what happens out there at Point Lowly, and those animals always deliver. There's so much behaviour that goes on, and colours, and anybody who wants to get in the water with them can see this spectacular display at no cost. There's nobody out there selling tickets. It's all free.
Yeah.
And, for him to risk the aggregation because he thinks it's been around long enough and there's no need for it, it doesn't make sense. It's so important. I'm not talking about financial. I know lots of businesses in Whyalla do well, the accommodation, because there's so many people come here and you can't dive in a hurry. You're always staying overnight and that kind of thing. Restaurants, takeaway food places, souvenirs, all of those things benefit really, really well. But a lot of the visitors who come, especially intrastate, South Australians, they just come up, walk out there, get in the water, it doesn't cost them anything, and they can see one of the most spectacular marine events on the planet. There's nothing like it. It's just so good.
Yeah.
And here we are risking it. And the upside, what's the other side of this minister's argument? What are they getting? Or what is the... what is the benefit of removing it? It just doesn't seem to make sense. We're risking the aggregation. There's no science. We don't know why the numbers disappeared in 2013. We don't even know why they come back. The minister quotes science. He's always saying things like, I'm acting on science. His science is that every year Sadi goes out there and counts the animals. That's it. There's no other science. There was actually a scientific paper published in 2017 by Karina Hall, and she went there, and it's a proper paper that's been accepted for publication, and she has proven that that we do need that closure. That's what her paper's all about. And this minister, with no other science other than a count, has decided that doesn't matter. Karina Hall's work is not worth thinking about, and he's decided that because the numbers have improved, then it's okay to remove the ban. It doesn't make sense. It's crazy.
It is a bit crazy.
Segregation on a whim, basically. It's crazy. This is so important. We need to get it right.
Yes, it is crazy, and I mean, I can't speak for myself. It's on my bucket list to get down there and do it. But you've done it, Rhodey, haven't you? And it's an amazing experience.
Yeah, we went up the last couple of years, sort of in the middle of winter, chucked a big wetsuit on, and went scuba diving with them. And I certainly agree with you, Tony, that it is a pretty amazing sight with all the colours. And I certainly hope that the numbers don't decrease as a result of this.
Yeah, well, look, the minister's taking a really big punt on himself. What if he's got it wrong? How's he going to explain that?
Yeah, I suppose time will tell, but hopefully the cuttlefish survive in their good numbers that we've seen recently.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping for, Matt. And look, it's so accessible and safe for people to come. You've got to have a bit of juice to get in there, put up with the cold water, but the right wetsuit and everything. It's just really accessible and great for people. If you've got your own gear, it doesn't cost anything. There's nobody out there selling tickets. You can just walk in the water and see this thing that, people come from all around the world, and some of the the best filmmakers and doco producers and scientists, who know about this, just rate it as number one. There's nothing else like it. We can't risk it. We can't. I don't even understand why we are taking a chance. Because even if the minister could say, "Oh, look, we're going to get rid of it because somebody's going to make a lot of money by taking it away," or there's going to be some other benefit that you can see by removing it, but there isn't. He's just decided that they don't need it anymore. It just doesn't. It's not logical. So we're really hoping that he changes his mind, and we're asking people to really get behind efforts to convince the minister that, hang on, mate, this isn't quite good. It's too big a chance. It's too much to risk without absolute science behind it. So we're asking people to look at our Facebook page, Whyalla Dive Shop, or to go onto the cuttlefish site on the internet, and if they can, just register their support, or let the minister know that there's people watching this, and he better get it right.
Yeah, we'll be sure to share your Facebook page through our social media as well, Tony. So we'll help you out with that. But
that'll be great.
Yeah, thanks a lot for joining us, Tony. You've certainly given a really good opinion of why the cuttlefish are so important, and from personal experience, I can certainly agree that it is an amazing sight and something we wouldn't want to lose in the state.
Thanks very much for the opportunity, mate. Really appreciate it.
So if anyone is heading over, Tony from Whyalla Diving Services is your man. He'll help you out. So give him a call and get in contact. Thanks, Tony.
Thanks, boys. Really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Now, that was great to be joined by Tony Bramley from Whyalla Diving Services with some really good information, Diz.
Very passionate man, and jump on the socials, give us your opinion. We know Tony's, it's a great part of the world, but we like the interaction on Facebook and everything, guys, so get amongst it. Rody, it's time for the fishing report, mate. What do we got?
Mulloway seem to be on the chew, guys. I've seen a couple of people's photos shared on the Let's Go Fishing Facebook page. They've been down in and seen Boyd and the boys. And down on Kaparinga River, they've been getting a few. So that's good news for everyone living down there. Also seen some reports of Mulloway at West Lakes and Salt Creek. So if you are after a Mulloway, now seems to be the time to have a crack, Diz.
Yes, absolutely. Never had much luck at West Lakes, but we like getting down there at Salt Creek, doing a bit of camping. It's a good weekend away, isn't it?
Certainly is. Diz, the squid, tell us about him.
Yes.
Over at Black Point.
We got on a good patch of squid at Black Point, had a short break, a good sort of break in the weather as well, and we got amongst them. The water was nice and clear, got out there in the moorings and some of our spots around sort of Pine Point Way and that, and got into a nice little patch of them. They're always good fun when you get them like that, aren't they, Rody?
Certainly are, mate. How many did you get?
Yeah, we got close to a dozen in the end.
Yep. Did your old man outfish you again?
Well, look, we had the floating sort of boys out there.
Had the Tommy on the teaser line?
Yes, we did. We had a Tommy on a teaser line, and that certainly brought him in, but his lures were doing the damage.
What colour did he go?
He had the tiger prawns.
Tiger prawns, yeah.
Yes, I had the Yozuri.
The redhead?
Yeah, I had the Yozuri redhead, and that just wasn't quite doing the damage.
Jeez, I'm not sure I believe you, mate. That is the best squid jam.
I might not have been working it too well. I got the black one on though because it was quite overcast, and I've heard some rumours about black lures when it's overcast. The water clarity certainly helped us though. It was a lovely day. Up and close against the cliffs there, it's nice.
I'm surprised your old man let you have the Yozuri redhead. That's his favourite, isn't it?
Yeah, don't worry, mate. If I got that bloody jagged, he would have been in the water dive. I would have been in the water diving after it.
All right, what else you got for us, mate? Where else are the fish?
Well, Pezza, what an absolute champion. Sharing some photos with all the gear but no idea on Instagram. Great work, Pezza. And he got on some redfin, didn't he?
Yeah, he often knocks off work up in the Barossa and nips down the dam for a flick of a lure, and he caught a nice one over the weekend, so that's good. I've also heard of a few others getting some freshwater catches up in the Adelaide Hills, some little trout and redfin. So as the weather cools down, they seem to come on the bite, guys.
You got to be passionate about it, don't you, to get the rug up and get up there in the Adelaide Hills when it's cold, don't you?
Certainly worth it though, mate.
Absolutely. The salmon trout, they're going pretty hard off O'Sullivan's Beach and some of the southern beaches. We had a little session on poppers actually. Just out the front of the shack there when it was sort of glassing off, and got a couple of small ones. They're always good fun.
Last weekend we put the boat in off O'Sullivan's Beach after we popped into Let's Go Fishing at Christie's, and we caught some salmon trout.
Yes, we did. That was good, and I'm sure that was the burley that brought them around the boat.
Yeah, the nitro burley.
Absolutely.
Certainly did the goods.
Absolutely. Shout out to those boys down there. Get amongst them.
And the did catch a few undersized whiting. We'll let them grow up a couple of centimetres more, and we'll get them back next year.
Yeah, we will. Where are the flathead going, Rody?
Well, I've heard scattered reports of flathead all over the place. I think a few down at Normanville, over York Peninsula, they've been getting them.
Yeah.
Seems to be the time of year for the flathead. I've never had a whole lot of luck over in South Australia. We caught plenty in Victoria as a kid, but sounds like they're coming on the bite, so we might have to hit that up soon too.
Absolutely. All right, and the barrels. We need not worry talking about barrels. Let's just hear from Flacky, eh?
All right, and welcome to episode 6. James Flack. Flacky had a great day out on the water last weekend. Headed down to the southeast hunting barrels and had a very successful day, which he'll tell us all about. He also has a range of skirts that he makes himself, Troll So Hard lures, so we'll touch on that as well. Flacky, how are you, mate?
Yeah, good on yourself.
Yes,
going
good,
well.
Thank you. Flacky, thank you very much for coming on the show. We're going to get the audio right this time, mate, so this is really good, and we'll hook into the 5 questions, mate. Tell us about your best fish.
Oh, the best fish? It's got to be the barrel. That just topped it off for me now, but other than that would be the first tuna I caught on one of my own lures that I made. No better feeling than catching a fish on something that you've made.
Yeah, that must be a amazing feeling. Can't say we've had that one ourselves.
No.
What's your favourite thing about fishing, Flacky?
Favourite thing about fishing, I think just about every guest that you've had on the podcast has mentioned it. It's mates, banter,
and I also like getting out fishing with my family as well. But yeah, like the banter, nothing beats the banter on the radio during tuna season amongst mates.
Oh yeah, good heading out with a bit of a crew, getting a bit of banter on the radio, nothing like it. And Flacky, your first fishing memory, mate, or what got you into fishing? Was it the banter on the radio, or what's the story?
No, it wasn't the banter on the radio, but yeah, we'll go with the memory and probably touch on got me into it as well. But yeah, fishing. First fishing memory would be up in Brisbane. Used to up in Brisbane, backed onto the Brizzy River at a place called 17 Mile Net section of the river called 17 Mile Rocks. Used to jump down there quite often fishing and for catfish and the occasional eel. And one day, head down there with a couple of guys that lived around the area. Well, guys, I say little kids back then, but. Headed down. We used to you go up the hill and climb down one of the rocks, or you can beeline it straight across an old gum tree log. And lo and behold, I thought I had the courage that I would get across this log, and ended up in the drink. But that's the way it goes sometimes. But got myself out, and it was all good from there. Mates. And the thrill of the chase, it sounds pretty cliche, but that's what really got me into it, was mates. And, you're always trying to learn new things as well.
Yeah, no, it's certainly very similar themes that come across with a lot of our guests on that one, Flacky. All right, now what is your favourite sort of fishing and why?
My favourite sort of fishing? Any sort of fishing really. Just getting out there with mates, but if I had to pick one style of fishing, would be tuna fishing, just purely for that chase of constantly on the move. But in saying that as well, I'm yet to crack a big king or a big Saracen, so who knows, something else on the horizon there for me.
Yes, absolutely. And on many of those trips, mate, or even the most recent one, what's the funniest fishing memory you've got, or the one that got away?
So fishing related, but got the new tub and went to christen it, cracking a champagne bottle over the bow rail, and lo and behold, the champagne bottle wouldn't smash for me. Pretty embarrassing, because my mum was actually filming the occasion to throw up on Facebook, but that's alright. But the one that got away probably for me would be the GT up in Broome, fishing in 100 metres of water when I was 14. Big 10-ounce lead. Hadn't had much luck all day, and then skipper said last drop for the whole day, and I was pretty devastated watching everyone else catch a fish. Hadn't caught much myself, and dropped down. I was the first one to the bottom, first one hooked up, and got 3/4 of the way back up, and just got the old dead weight. And I was pretty devastated to pull up a big head of a GT.
Spewing.
But that's fishing, I suppose. You get that.
And Flacky, did the unbreakable bottle of champagne end up making it to Facebook?
It did. It's on my personal page there. I think my mum tagged me in it somewhere in the archives there. It's going back about 5 years ago now, I think. So.
Yeah. Now, thanks for those 5 questions there, Flacky. We're going to move on to your recent day out chasing barrels. So you headed out last weekend, I think it was. Tell us, has that been something you've been planning for a long time?
Yeah, it's been something that's been in the pipeline for probably the last, a year since our last trip, actually. Memory posted up on Facebook a year ago that we went down to Portland chasing barrels. And that's where it all started for me and Steely and his brother-in-law Tyson. So we headed down there last year and had a bit of unfortunate events. A few things happened, but that's fishing. And this trip was sort of drop everything and go. After they've got those first few little reports that there was barrels being caught, it was all right, we're going next weather window we get, and that happened to be Sunday. So the decision was made on the Friday night that we'll head down. So we packed bags and headed off Saturday lunchtime.
Yeah, fantastic, mate. I bet that was the trip of a lifetime when we went down there chasing barrels a couple of years ago. It was a bit similar. We sort of tried to make it happen, but the weather didn't quite play the game. And then, really, once the weather, you get the nod from that, you just got to pack it up and go, haven't you?
Yeah, that's right. I think that's the biggest thing we learned from last year is you can't really plan these barrel trips. You've just got to go when the bite's hot. And that's probably my biggest piece of advice to anyone that wants to catch one is you can't wait, really. You can't wait for everything to align perfectly for you. It's just one of those things, you just got to drop everything and go.
Yeah, you do. And talk us through the day, Flacky. So what time did you launch? Who was on the boat? It was Steely's boat, you said?
Yeah, on Steely's boat. It was a 2050 Stubby. Nice boat, handles the water really well. But yeah, we launched at first light, so I think it was about 6:10. We had another mate with us down there fishing in his little 5.3 centre console. Motley crew, those boys. Love that's one of the guys we fish with quite regularly out of Victor. And we followed. We're actually lucky enough at the ramp. We'd been speaking to a couple of locals, and one of them was happy for us to follow him out. So that came very much in handy for us. Yeah, I headed out on the grounds and got there at about 7:15 out to the area, and dropped lures in and started trolling and pulled up alongside Port Mac Fishing Charters starboard side and trolled along them and watched them hook up. Straight away, we were like, oh, we're on here. But wasn't to be.
And then it was a long day worth of trawling, was it, Flacky? If it was anything like our day, mate, where you get 4 or 5 hours into it and your spirits are low, what was the day like? A long day?
Yeah, it was a long day. Like you say, the sort of 4 or 5 hours of trolling around to not much action. See the boat here and there hooking up. It makes you feel a bit more down in the dumps as well. And chasing bait for 5 kilometres. With birds and marking fish as well, that's the most devastating part. Is the fish are there, but they're just not playing the game. But that's barrel fishing for you.
Yeah, and when you said there were a few boats out there getting fish, how many boats you reckon were out there on the day, and what percentage of them you think got a barrel?
It's hard to know. I mean, because we ventured off and came back a few times, but I think that overall on the day at the ramp in the morning, it was about 20 trailers, I reckon.
Yeah.
Whether or not they were all fishing for barrels, I don't know. But I think most of the guys that day would have got fish, I'm pretty sure, from what we saw. I think there was a few guys that didn't. Whether or not that's because they got out there late or, pulled the pin early as well. You get down in the dumps after trolling around for 4 or 5 hours and you're ready to call it quits sort of thing. So
yeah, absolutely. And so, Flacky, when you hooked up, mate, tell us about the fight. It must have been an absolute thrill.
Oh, yeah. It was all hands on deck. There was only 4 hands on deck, but we're frantically trying to clear the deck. The discussion was that I would put one rod in and then I would be in the harness and clipped in. So that's what I did, and Steely pulled in the rest of the rods, and we'd actually had a hit a little bit earlier on one of my bigger lures, which we didn't actually know at the time, but it ended up tangling up with a new product that I've been working on. It was spreader bar, and it just ended up lying everywhere, and trying to work out where that was compared to where my line was with the fish on it was pretty hectic and stressful. But once that was all sorted out, we're into fight mode and half the spool gone.
Perfect.
Yeah, and how long did the fight go for? Tell us about it.
So 3 hours on the rod. It's a long time, but in saying that, it's probably the quickest 3 hours I reckon of my life, because it certainly didn't seem like 3 hours, but I felt like I was on the rod for 3 3 hours the next day.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe about an hour and a half into the fight, sort of got to a bit of a stalemate. The fish wanted to come to the boat and give up, but wind against swell just didn't work in our favour. You know, we're trying to get close to hitting it with a gas, but the wind would always just either just blow us off or the swell would just pick us up and push us off the fish. And then it would take another sort of 50 to 60 metres of line off me and it would all over again.
Yeah, and which lure did the damage, Flacky?
Yeah, so that was a 9-inch got it in colour real steel, which is a slant-based lure, so pretty aggressive action in the water.
And was that the one you named after the skipper on the day? Was it Flacky?
Yeah, actually, the colour is named after him, or after his boat name, after he got his barrel last year on another trip that he did. I wasn't on the boat, unfortunately, but I ended up getting a barrel for him, and that's where it come from, the name, Real Steel.
Absolutely. Flacky, we're really interested in your skirts, mate. You're going to have to get into a bit of the technical business here because we haven't had too much luck on skirts when we've caught the tuna. We've usually got them on deep divers. So what have we been doing wrong? And what's your tips for the junior or novice fishermen out there with all the gear but no idea like us?
Look, like you say, I think there's a lot of people's misconception about running skirts. They are hard to run with divers as well because they want to swim at different speeds. There's a bit of an art to running skirts, I reckon, and where to run them in the spread, what style of lure to run where, and realistically, at the end of the day, the only person that should be able to tell you where to run a lure should be the lure maker himself, because that's ultimately who's designed it to run in the spread where it should. But a little bit on styles of lures and when you should run them. So you go with your sort of a slant face and a deep cup or a cup face lure or pusher style lure. I generally try and run them on a calm day to push a lot of water around and be really aggressive in the water to make a bit of action happen. And then you can go to your sort of bullet styles and your cut face again or your pushers on a rough day, just because they track a bit straighter and hold the water a bit better.
Yeah, and tell us about the colours. Does that and the sizes? What do you think about that? What seems to have the most success?
Oh, for me, it's always been pink, anything pink. But a lot of guys have success on blues and lumos and whatnot. Last year, we actually had a double hook up on the barrels down at Portland in early September on a red bait colour, which is a pinky blue sort of colour. I've got a couple of options in the red bait colour and the lumo bullet in shotgun. So there's no real hard and fast colour thing, but yeah, trying to match the hatch as well helps a little bit.
Yeah, I've got your page in front of me, just having a look. Lots of purples and pinks and blues in the range. Is it on a dark day you use a different colour lure, or is it more about matching the bait?
Oh, look, personal preference is for me anyway. I mean, everyone's got a different theory on it, and I suppose that's where what's good about fishing, because you're always learning. But I would try and match the hatch. But yeah, same theory. Your theories are running darker lures on a light day, or everyone has a different theory. So I could tell you one thing, but another person would tell you another thing. So
yes, that's right. We're all about theories too. I think that plays into a bit of banter when you're out on the boat too. You can have a real laugh at your mates when they come out with some ordinary theories, can't you?
100%.
Flacky, tell us about the spreader bars, mate. Very interested. What's happening there?
Yeah, so the mini spreaders are just something that I came up with after watching guys barrel fishing, catching barrels left, right and centre using spreader bars. So I thought, well, why not make a smaller version of that for the local fish? And I'm working on the large spreader bars at the moment, still sort of in the prototype stage, trying to get them to do what they need to do.
Yeah, and so you think tell us about the theory behind the spreader bars. They bring the fish up to the boat. Is that the idea?
Oh, look, I think anything teaser wise that you can run that's going to mimic a school of bait fish is going to give you more chance of catching for sure. I mean, running just from I only started making mini spreader bars early this year, and since they hit the water, they've just been going mental with the school fish just coming up. And daisy chains as well, just being so much more aggressive on the bite fish.
Yes, yeah, because it's funny you mentioned spreader bars, mate. We have got one of the most home DIY job teaser lines you've ever seen in your life. It's got a myriad of CDs and glitter and all sorts of gear that Brody's got all day to do it and nothing to do and all day to do it. And he's sit there and made a teaser line, and we've had a bit of luck with it, but I think next year we might upgrade and buy one of your spreader bars.
Yeah, no, look, I mean, like I say, it can be DIY. It's one of those things. Anything to attract the fish to your boat is going to help you, mate. I don't think you can make the most fanciest spreader bar or teaser you wanted, or you could make a $10 one that does exactly the same thing.
The biggest problem with my teaser line is it gets bloody tangled every time we use it because it's got so many odd shapes and different bits to it. It's a bloody mess.
It is. No, so that's good. We're going to have to upgrade our setup there next year, that's for sure. Mate, where do the listeners find your gear? Where do you stock it? And tell us a bit more about that.
Yep, so if you're chasing school fish or the local fish or around the place, you can pretty much grab the full range from Let's Go Fishing down there, which is owned by one of your previous guests, Boyd.
Yep.
And another previous guest works there down the Fishing Guru. Both making pretty big waves in the fishing industry in South Australia as well. And if you're chasing the bigger stuff with barrels, jump on Facebook and shoot me a message. I'm more than happy to help you out with anything, and that goes with even if you wanted to buy the smaller lures as well, because I'm all about helping everyone out, getting on the fish. The more fish that are caught in my lures, the better. I'm always there for advice on where to run the lures as well. So.
Yeah, I think that's really good that the listeners can get in contact and not only get a great lure sort of perfect for the conditions and the areas they want to fish, but also that the bloke that makes the lures will talk them through it, tell them, some theories behind why it works and what it imitates. So that's really good customer service you offer there. Now tell us.
That's what it's all about, really.
Yeah, tell us about what other sort of species you have caught on your Troll So Hard lures.
Yep, alright, so it would have been actually New Year's Day this year. I got a message from a guy up in Queensland. He bought a few lures off me probably about 6 months prior to that, and he said he wanted to chase mahi-mahi. He got a nice mahi-mahi or dolphin fish on one of the 6-inch gotchas, which is the first lure I ever made, actually. And then just recently, the weekend prior to me catching my barrel, another fella from Sydney called Ramsey, he actually caught the first marl, on his boat. His mate caught the first marlin on one of my lures, which is a big 12-inch lure. He was running in the short corner. I think it was estimated at 130 kilos.
Wow.
Marlin, so absolutely stoked about that. And then to back it up the following weekend with my own 100+ kilo tuna, it's been a
good month.
A whirlwind of events.
Yeah.
And Flacky, we've heard all about how the lures work and what you've caught on them and all those sort of things. Tell us about how you actually make them. What goes into it? Do you do it all on your own? Talk us through a bit of that for us.
Yeah. So obviously they're made out of resin. We use 2 different types of resin. One being an epoxy for my smaller stuff, and polyester for my larger stuff, which requires me to sand and polish them afterwards. So basically I pour what I call an an insert, and then that gets taken out of a mould. It gets wrapped in either flash tape. I've actually just started working with shell veneers as well to put on the inserts, eyes. Then that goes into the lure head mould, and then I pour the resin in that, and that generally takes 24 hours to go off. Pop them out, either sand or polish them if I need to, and whack on quality Uziri skirts.
Yeah, fantastic. And they, we really love them, and there's no doubt the fish love them too, mate. Every year we seem to see plenty of Troll So Hard lure tags on the Victor fishing pages and all that stuff, so they do very well on the tuna, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's what I've been building up for the last few years, since I've actually been selling them, so it's getting bigger and bigger, and it's starting to get harder and harder to do it on my own. There's been a lot of early mornings and late nights spent out in my shed making lures to get them out so people can get on to fish.
And so, how many hours per week do you put into this, Flacky? Is it a full-time thing or just something you sort of do on the side?
So I still work full-time, but so I do it on the side. I'll probably, depending over summer when the local fish are running, I'm probably out in the shed for anywhere between 20 to 40 hours a week, depending on how many orders I've got. And then just recently, obviously after catching the barrel, I've been inundated in orders. I've sort of had a little bit of a lull period there for a little bit, which is all right. It gives me a bit of a chance to spend a bit of time with my family. And then, so I've just been getting up a bit earlier in the morning before work and pour a few heads, and then come home and do the same thing again. So probably another 20 hours or so this week I've put in.
Yeah, so you're a busy man come tuna season by the sounds.
Very busy, much to the missus' demise. She doesn't like me spending too much time out in the shed, but she benefits from it in the long run. And we can do some things that we do.
And last question from me, Flacky. You talked about the spreader bars being pretty new. Any idea what's next on the agenda? Anything that you've got in the brain that you're ticking away at?
Not at the moment, but I'm sure there'll be a few things that will be popping into my mind. Just always trying to work on things, or I'm more than happy for people to shoot me ideas on something that they would like to see in the range as well. So, yeah.
That's really good, mate, and we'll definitely be sure to get the Facebook page out there on our social media, and it's all about supporting locals, and all of you guys, like you've mentioned, Boyd and the Fishing Guru and all the guests we've had on, really supporting the local scene, and it's great to be a part of and great to sort of help spread the good word. You're doing a fantastic job, mate, and we love it.
Awesome. Cheers, guys. I appreciate that.
Thanks a lot for joining us, mate, and we'll certainly be in contact maybe come the start of the tuna season next year to have a chat about what's new and what's coming up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no worries. I'll look forward to it.
Cheers, Flacky.
No worries. Cheers, guys.
See you, mate.
James Flack from Troll So Hard Lures. What an absolute treat to have him on the show, Brody.
Yeah, no, he was a really informative, interesting. I thought he was a good guest.
He was great. And that's just about wrapping up episode 6. But Rody, give the listeners out there a quick reminder about the socials, mate. Where can they find us?
Yeah, so search All the Gear But No Idea on Facebook or Instagram, and make sure you're sharing a bit of gear with us, as our good mate Pezza did. Showed us his red fin he caught over the weekend.
Absolutely. And, the bit they've all been waiting for, mate. The joke.
Mate, you haven't delivered a good one yet, so let's see if you can break the donut.
I'm not sure this is going to do us any justice, and we might need to consider canning this. But anyway, here goes nothing. The park ranger walks up to a man sitting on the jetty there and yells out to him, "Mate, didn't you see the big sign there that says no fishing?" He goes, "No, mate, I'm not fishing. I'm teaching these worms how to swim."
It's probably not your worst, but we're not coming from a real great baseline, are we, mate?
No, we aren't. And we need to think of something. We're going to have to come up with some good material, I reckon. That's about it for today. Thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah, get in contact for the last of these stubby holders before Latchy snaps them all up from Sydney, guys.
Absolutely. Cheers, guys.
See ya.
Rhodey and Diz hope you enjoyed today's episode of All the Gear But No Idea. Keep up to date by liking and sharing us on Facebook and Instagram, and you can subscribe on all the major podcast platforms. Until next time, good luck fishing.